Hello and welcome. You know, when you look at the headlines coming out of Pakistan, it can feel like you're trying to solve a really complicated puzzle. One minute, you're hearing about major political breakthroughs, and the next, it's all about deep-seated friction. You see a soaring stock market, but then you read about massive utility shutdowns. So, today, we're going to try and put some of those pieces together. And that brings us to our central question. Is Pakistan, at its heart, a nation of contrasts? And what are all these seemingly contradictory stories really telling us about where the country is headed? We're going to unpack this by looking at a few key areas, from its politics to its economy, and of course, its security.
First up, you've got this constant push and pull in the political world. It's a real tug-of-war for power.
Then we're going to dive into the economy, where you see these dramatic swings, and I mean, good news and bad news often seem to arrive on the very same day. And finally, we'll look at the country's ongoing security challenges, which, as you'll see, are being fought on two very different fronts, one on the ground and one in the digital world. Okay, let's get into it, starting with politics. So our first major stop is the political arena. And what's so fascinating here is this mix of straight-up confrontation and, at the same time, calls for everyone to just work together. And this slide really captures that perfectly. On the one hand, you have some serious friction. Members of the PTI party are saying they're literally being blocked from meeting their own founder in jail. But then, at the exact same time, you've got this official push for dialogue. The National Assembly Speaker, Ayaz Sadiq, has formally invited the PTI to the table for talks on how to make the assembly actually work better. It's a classic political dance, right? Conflict on one side and olive branch on the other.
And look, this isn't just a one-off thing. A senior politician, Shah Mahmood Qureshi, put it very bluntly. He said, "We will have to sit together again. A new charter of democracy will have to be made." Now, that phrase, charter of democracy, that's powerful stuff. It suggests that what's needed is a fundamental reset, a real admission that the way things are going, well, it just isn't working.
But while all these big players are talking about dialogue, the day-to-day political machinery just keeps on grinding, and it's creating its own set of headaches. I mean, a new opposition leader has finally been appointed after a 6-month gap, which is a big deal, but at the local level, right in the capital, things are pretty messy. The election schedule got pulled back because of a legal fight over a new ordinance. It just goes to show, even when leaders are calling for stability, the system itself is in constant motion. Okay, so from politics, let's pivot to our second key area, security. And here, the contrasts are just as stark. Pakistan is fighting battles on two completely different fronts. One is very physical, on the ground, and the other is entirely online. First, let's look at that physical front. An incident not too long ago in Kharan, Balochistan really shows you how serious this threat is. According to official military sources, a group of about 15 to 20 terrorists launched a pretty coordinated attack, hitting a police station and 2 banks. They actually managed to steal 3.4 million rupees before security forces could move in and, crucially, prevent a potential hostage situation. The official report says that in the operation that followed, 12 terrorists, who they described as Indian-backed, were killed. But, you know, these kinds of physical operations are really only half the story. The other major front in Pakistan's security battle isn't fought with guns at all, but with keyboards and servers. It's happening right now in the digital world. And the scale of this digital crackdown is just massive. The Pakistan Telecommunications Authority, the PTA, recently reported that it has blocked over 1 million, 1 million, illegal web links. This is all part of a huge effort to control what they're defining as harmful content online. And when you really dig into the numbers, one platform just completely dominates the picture. A staggering 94% of all that blocked content came from TikTok. That tells you that for Pakistani regulators, the whole challenge of online content is in so many ways really a challenge of trying to manage this one hugely popular app. And this digital threat isn't just about controversial videos, it's also about some really sophisticated crime. This actually came up on the floor of the National Assembly itself, when the Speaker, Ayaz Sadiq, shared this incredible personal story. He said that scammers used AI to clone his voice, then called one of his contacts to ask for money. I mean, think about that. If the voice of the Speaker of the House can be faked so convincingly, it just shows you how advanced and how personal this threat has become for absolutely everyone. All right, let's move on to our third area for today, the economy. And just like with politics and security, you guessed it, it is a story of stark contrasts. And this chart shows the economic paradox in a nutshell. On one side, you have this incredible optimism in the financial markets. The Pakistan Stock Exchange recently shot up over 3,000 points.
That's usually driven by things like investor confidence or talk of international loans. But on the other side, you've got the harsh reality of failing infrastructure, like a 48-hour gas shutdown for industries in Karachi. It's like the two things exist in completely different worlds. And these on-the-ground realities really fly in the face of all that stock market optimism. That gas shutdown in Karachi? It was supposed to help residential customers, sure, but it also meant that factories had to halt production completely. At the same time, a massive fire down at the port destroyed over 20 shipping containers. See, if you're a business owner, these are the headlines that actually matter, not some number on a stock ticker.
But it's not all just politics and economic hardship. Sometimes the most powerful stories pop up where you least expect them. Amid all these domestic challenges, there's another arena where Pakistan is competing on the world stage, and that's sports.
So right now, the ICC Under-19 Cricket World Cup is going on, and Pakistan's team is kicking off its campaign. You know, in a country that's defined by so many divisions, sports can be this incredibly powerful unifying force. For a little while, all the political and economic worries can kind of fade into the background, and they're replaced by this shared sense of national pride. It's yet another contrast, right? A moment of pure unity in a landscape full of friction. So after looking at all this, what do we make of it all? Let's try and bring it all together.
So what does this all add up to? Well, it looks like a nation that's really defined by duality. You have political leaders calling for unity while deep divisions are still there. You have a stock market that's soaring while factories are shutting down. And you have security forces fighting terrorists on the ground and scammers online. If there's one key takeaway from all of this, it's this. In Pakistan, a single headline never ever tells the whole story.
And that leaves us with one last really crucial question. In a nation with so many powerful competing forces, the path forward probably isn't about picking a side, believing the optimistic headline or the pessimistic one. It's about recognizing they're two sides of the same coin. So the real question is, in this nation of contrasts, where is unity needed the most? Thanks for digging into this with us today.